Hey, this is RJ May, and you're watching Mr. Mario 2011.
Hey, what is going on, everyone? It is me, Mr. Mario, and yes, I think this is the first video I'm making where I'm coming on camera without a hat on for the first time in ages. But anyways, not talking about the hats completely. Today, I want to talk to you all about Windows 8 and the upcoming Windows 9. So, I want to talk about this due to the fact that I recently just got finished doing an extended trial run of Windows 8.1. We're talking about 8.1 specifically here. Not 8.1, Service Pack 1, whatever they're doing. No, just like 8.1. That's what we're talking about. 64-bit to be specific. And I want to talk about Windows 9 because I had talked kind of about this earlier. I actually have another video, and if I remember to, I'll link it down in the description. But I was talking about an article where it was leaked out that internally Microsoft calls Windows 8 the new Vista. But enough of that. I pretty much did an extended trial run of Windows 8, and in case you don't know, I have two solid states in my computer right here. So one of them I have Windows 7, the other one I have Windows 8 installed on. And I would occasionally use Windows 8, but I've been more of a Windows 7 user. Well, for 3 weeks, I said, you know what, I'm only going to use Windows 8. And the reason why it was 3 weeks is because I started it sometime in April, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going to change it until May. So I'm going to do it until the end of the month. So what happened was I set that up. I set it up as my primary, my default, so when I would turn my computer on, it would boot into Windows 8.1, all that good stuff. And what's my final verdict on it? Well, I like Windows 8.1. I do. But there's one big issue with it, which should not be an issue. And it is the accessibility of it. You see, my main issue with Windows 8 and Windows 8.1, I'm just going to refer to it as Windows 8 from here on out, okay? Because the point one, it's the same damn thing. Except point one, if you do have Windows 8, I would highly recommend upgrading to 8.1 due to the fact that I noticed there were a lot of things that kind of bugged me or annoyed me with Windows 8, and when I put on the 8.1 update, it seemed to fix up a lot of things, it seemed to fix up gestures, and it has a noticeable performance difference as well. So, if you haven't updated, I would highly recommend updating to 8.1. But anyways, I'm just referring to it as 8 from here on out. The issue I'm talking about here is that my main thing was, what would make me go from Windows 8 to Windows 7 was that there was stuff I could not find. I would go into Windows 8, I'd be using it all happily, and then I need to look for something. So I hit the start menu, the start button on my keyboard, and I start typing. And whatever I type, I can't find. It would be something, it could be anything that I could have found on Windows 7 easily, and I can't find it on Windows 8. One difference, for example, on Windows 7, you have computer. If you go there, it shows you your drives. If you right click it, you can go to properties and such. It shows you your activation status. You can change your key. It shows you your computer specs, all that stuff. On Windows 8, it's not computer, it's PC info. On Windows 8, they made everything super casual because of the whole Metro style interface. Metro style interface, in case you don't know, is a lot like what the Xbox 360, Windows Phone, the Xbox One has. It's all tiles, it's all squares. What Microsoft did was they got rid of the nice start menu that has been in Windows since the beginning of time, and they replaced it with the whole Metro interface. Now, some people say, oh, well, if you complain about the Metro interface so much, you could just set it so that you can boot to your desktop when you sign into your computer. That doesn't fix it. People don't understand that. If I still need to look for something, I need to hit the start button, and or the Windows key, I guess that's what it is. I need to hit the Windows key on my keyboard, and what happens when I hit the Windows key? My desktop goes away, and in comes Metro, and from there, I can find the tiles that I'm looking for. So, no, booting to desktop just makes my computer boot to desktop. It does not fix any issues. It does not remedy my concerns with Metro. It doesn't do anything like that. The problem is also, there are two applications, there are two versions of each core application on Windows 8. You have the Metro apps, and you have the desktop apps. It should not be so complex. It should not be like that. My computer's monitor should not be turning off, but whatever, I'll deal with that. This has been pent up, you guys. This has been pent up. But with good reason. I will say this. It sounds like I'm complaining about Windows 8 a lot, and I am. But there was one redeeming factor of it. I noticed that when I did something, it actually fixed up. What am I trying to say? It fixed up all of my issues I was having with Windows 8, except for one little issue. This is more my fault, I will say. I'll take one for the team here. I'm pretty sure I don't have the correct audio drivers for my specific motherboard installed on my Windows 8 partition. So occasionally, my audio would give me issues. But aside from that, I was able to fix up all the issues I had with Windows 8. You know what I did? I went online, and I caved, and I installed Classic Shell. Now, what is Classic Shell, you might ask? It is a free version that is also customizable of the Windows 7 start menu. So you install that, and then from there, it replaces the Windows key from Metro to the start menu. But if you want to, you could change the options around. You can decorate the start menu, and you could even go to the start menu, and then from there, select the Metro interface, because there is still some stuff on occasion that you need to access, like occasionally you need to access through Metro. That's just how it is. But I noticed for that, it remedied all my issues. After that, Windows 8 was perfect. And I was able to look at it from a fair perspective. The operating system itself is very fast. Many programs have been updated now so that they run perfectly with Windows 8. There have been Windows, like Microsoft as well, they've done a great job updating it. So now, you know, there are some programs that didn't even need to be updated because now they work just fine on Windows 8. And everything just seemed to work. There were noticeable performance upgrades as well. And dare I say it, I was playing Titanfall as well. That's really been one of the only PC games I've been playing. And Titanfall runs noticeably better on Windows 8 than Windows 7. It runs marginally better on there. And game performance is actually a lot better on Windows 8 from what I've noticed. And you know what the frustrating thing is? Windows 8 is a great operating system. But Microsoft could have fixed all of it up if they just kept the start menu in. Now, granted, there is news coming out, but the next big update, so technically Service Pack 1 or Windows 8.2, whatever you want to call, I don't know what it's called right now. Apparently, word is the next big update that is coming out, they are going to reinstate a start menu. That is what needs to happen. In case you don't know, actually, when we went from Windows 8 to Windows 8.1, Microsoft did a total troll move. They put in a start button, but if you hit the start button, it takes you to Arrow. Well, not Arrow, no, I'm thinking of Windows 7 here. I'm sorry, it's like 12:30 right now, like past midnight when I'm recording this. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is if you hit that start button, it takes you to Metro, which is the tiles. It doesn't give you a start menu, it takes you to Metro. That is just a total troll move. There was no reason to do that, Microsoft. You really didn't need to do that. But whatever. It's done. This leads to my next point. How can you fix Windows 8, and how can you make the next operating system great? Well, first off, I'll talk about Windows 8. I'm going to have a link down below. If you are having annoyances with Windows 8 and you're just not liking it for some reason or a few reasons, just try and install Classic Shell. It's free, and it is a start menu. That fixed up almost all of my issues, because I could not find stuff. It was as simple as that. I couldn't find stuff. And for people who are saying, oh, well, Mario, you just need to get used to it. No. I went from 95 to 98 with no issues. From 98 to XP with no issues. From XP to Vista with no issues. Surprisingly. From Vista to 7 with no issues. The first time I ever had any issues or difficulty with my operating system on my computer was when I went to Windows 8. Before then, I had gone through several operating systems, a handful of operating systems literally, and I didn't have any issues. So that has to explain something right there. All Microsoft needs to do right now is they need to make Metro optional, and they need to make the start menu optional. And what I don't understand is they were so determined to kill this thing off, and it really bit them in the ass. It really did. Because I remember even when Windows 8 was in beta, everyone said, oh, you know, this should be done, this should be done, this should be done. There needs to be a start menu. And Microsoft took everyone's advice from the original beta and from the subsequent betas up until release. They took everyone's advice except for the start menu advice. That is the only thing they did not add in. Aside from that, they added everything. They happily added in everything, but they were so dead set on making a mobile UI style desktop experience that they just wanted to kill off the start menu. And the start menu is not going to go away without a fight. It has already been confirmed in the next Windows 8 update that a start menu will be coming back. And Windows 9 has been released, not released, it's been announced as well. Now this is leading into this point. What can Microsoft do about all this? Well, first off, as I said, make Metro optional, make the start menu optional on Windows 8. But it's not going to stop there. Because see, here's the thing. That's going to fix up the issue for people like you and I. Yes, I'm talking to you, the person watching it. By the way, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate the viewership. But this doesn't fix up the issue for you and I. You see, it's going to make us happy, but it doesn't make Microsoft happy. Because here's the thing. Windows 8, the reputation of the operating system has been tarnished. That's it. How has it been tarnished, you might ask? From marketing. People have badmouthed it. People have said there's no start menu. People have shown how annoying it is to use. It got a really bad rap. Now, some people might be saying, oh, well, Microsoft can change all that around. That initial impression is so hard to change, you all. Two perfect examples. I brought them in front of me right here. The Xbox One. People still think that this system has a 24-hour suicide watch DRM on it. You know why? Because of the original debuts, of all the original leaks that came out about it, and because of Microsoft's terrible PR and promotion up until E3 for this console. Also, let it be known that bad news is much easier to spread and much easier to gain attention and momentum with than good news. By the way, this does not have DRM on it any longer. But people still think the Xbox One has DRM. Why? Because of the initial marketing. The Wii U, right here. People either don't know that this thing exists, or if you tell them that it exists, they think that this is an expansion for the Wii. They think that you can keep your Wii system, and then you can buy this thing, the tablet alone, and sync it up to your original Wii, so you have a Wii U right here, which is an expansion. In case you don't know, no, this is the gamepad tablet controller, and the Wii U is a separate console. Why? Bad marketing on Nintendo's part. Not enough momentum with it. They didn't market it properly. And honestly, this is another one of those things. If Nintendo just called this the Wii 2, everyone would have been okay with it. They called it the Wii U, which sounds more like an expansion for the Wii over a whole new system. I mean, hell, even if they called it the Super Wii, I think it would have been better. But I digress. Microsoft, you all need to support Windows 8. Keep supporting it because it still has life to it. However, what Microsoft is going to do, they're going to push out Windows 9 pretty fast. And I have to say, I actually support this. Now, there might be people that will be shocked with that. And they might be thinking that, I'm not fighting for the user and all that. I can't really think of it right now. But listen, you and I, what I was talking about earlier with you and I, yes, you, the person watching, thank you again for watching. We are not the people that Microsoft is targeting. You see, if they fix up the Windows 8 issue for us, that's fine. You and I have been beta testers. You and I have been alpha testers. I'm calling it that because when a new operating systems come out, they are pretty much that. You and I have been testers. You and I actually look up the issues. I mean, you are watching this video right now. You actually go out and look up the issues. But we are not Microsoft's target demographic. Do you know who their target demographic is? The average end user. The person who doesn't know much about computers. The person who just wants to go on there to do some work, to check email, to watch funny videos on YouTube. Just things like that. The person who doesn't really know how to fix up a computer. That is their target demographic. Oh, and of course, businesses and place of education and such. And I'll have to say this. By the way, in case you don't know, back in April, Microsoft cut off support for Windows XP. So they were hoping that people would start upgrading from XP to Windows 8. How embarrassing it is. How embarrassing is it? when your old operating system that you're trying to phase out, which is Windows 7, is the one that everyone is upgrading to. Nobody wants to upgrade to the new one. They want to upgrade to the old one. How embarrassing is that? And these are businesses, establishments of education, giant chains and firms and whatnot. Windows 8 was just not good in a business setting. And you know what? A lot of that, again, is because of that Metro interface. But going on to Windows 9. What Microsoft needs to do is they need to release Windows 9. They need to, pretty much all they need to do right now, they need to take Windows 8 as is, slap on a 9 to it, and then make a start menu optional. Because honestly, Windows 8, do you know what it is when you add a start menu to it? It is a cleaned up, I would say just as stable actually. It is a cleaned up, faster, more efficient version of Windows 7. Now, granted, there are some things here and there now. There are computers that just cannot handle Windows 8. But at the same time, there are also computers out there that just cannot handle Windows 7 properly. But most time for newer computers and whatnot, Windows 8 would actually run better on your system than Windows 7. Shockingly enough, that's how it was for me. And that's a disappointing thing with it, because with all that, it is such a good operating system, but because of that poor marketing and because of that damn forced Metro interface, it just doesn't work out. But what they need to do is they need to bring in the average consumer. One great example. My father has a laptop that he just got like less than a year ago or so. Nice laptop. It's a touch screen. You can fold up the screen, all that stuff. You can flip it, do a bunch of crazy stuff with it, right? It has Windows 8 on it. He rarely uses the thing. He will use every other device in the house and use that device last, because it is the only device with Windows 8, and he hates Windows 8. And the funny thing is, even though he has a touch screen, he doesn't like Windows 8 because of that Metro interface. And that is one of those things, There are some people, they have a mouse and keyboard, they love the Metro interface. There are some people, they have a touch screen, they hate the Metro interface. So that's why I'm saying make everything optional. But if Microsoft does that with Windows 9, they don't even need to abandon the Metro interface. They really don't. Just put in that start menu, make it optional for the end user, make Metro optional for the end user, and you'll be good and you'll have a solid operating system. You will give people a reason to go to a store like Walmart or Best Buy and find a computer with Windows 9 on it and buy it. There will not be people who will be indecisive because they go and see a computer with Windows 8 and they say, oh, well, I was actually looking for a computer with Windows 7. That will not happen. You need to make that not... what I just said, you need to make sure that doesn't happen again. Because people bash on Windows 8. They say it's a terrible operating system, blah, blah, blah. It's not a terrible operating system, you all. It's a very good operating system, but Metro and the lack of that start menu has really ruined it. It really has. So, what my request here is, if there's anyone at Microsoft PR listening or whatnot, Microsoft, can you just not screw this operating system release up? Like, that's all I'm asking. It's not a demanding demand. It's very possible. Like, just please, if and when you release Windows 9, could you just not screw it up? Is that too hard to ask? I don't think it is. And I understand you're trying to force this Metro interface on people, but people are just not liking it. The Xbox One people don't like it. The Xbox 360 people don't like it. The Windows 8 people don't like it. The only people that really like it are Windows Phone users, and that is because not an average person will not get Windows Phone. A person who will buy Windows Phone is a person who wants to try it, a person who is interested in the Windows Phone mobile operating system, or a person who knows what they're getting into, which I guess would be kind of the same thing. But I just said right there how to not screw up this release. It is as simple as that. Keep it the same, do more tweaks, do more optimizations. You all are lovely with that. But make Metro optional, and more importantly, bring back the start menu and make that optional. And if you do those two things, I promise, Windows 9 will be a success. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario, signing off. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm gonna get some sleep.